friends, and welcome to the 2021 Katie Bakes for Casey Back to School series. So I know you're saying, Katie, it's July. It's 90 degrees outside. What do you mean back to school? Well, a few of our friends across the country are starting school in a few weeks. So what I wanted to do was make some tutorial videos of some basic things to get you set up for the school year. Safe lunchbox treats, things to prep in the freezer to have for busy nights, because we all know things are going to start up again. I know in a few weeks, into the school year, we start on September 1st. The boys will have hockey and baseball and flag football and religion and lots of things going on. So it's nice to have your freezer packed, some get up and go things that you are ready no matter what. And one of the things I wanted to start with was granola bars, because granola bars are one of the things that, as food allergy families, it's kind of a mountain for us to climb. They are generally filled with may contain tree nuts, cross-contamination, it has dairy. You have someone like Casey who is anaphylactic to all seeds, and there are some great options for those who can have seeds because of the protein, but we can't go anywhere near sunflower, flax, pretty much you name it. And even though they're great sources of protein for other people, we can't go anywhere near them. So I wanted to start with granola bars because they are safe. They are so easy. This recipe is so easy. You could put them in the freezer. They last in the fridge for a few weeks, and it's a great grab and go. Even if you're not making this for your food allergy child, even if you're an adult with food allergies, this is a great option. Throw in your bag for your work day, going on a weekend hike. It's really just such an easy thing to do, and a way to feel like you're in control of something that a lot of the other kids at school have that you want your little one to have as well, okay? So us chefs, we have a term called mise en place. What does mise en place mean? It means everything in its place. Before you start your recipe, start to finish down the line what you need. Read your recipe twice. Always read it twice to make sure you have everything, whether it's preheating an oven, the right pan, the right ingredients, okay? This is definitely a recipe that needs to be mise en place before you start, because once that sugar syrup starts boiling, which I'll talk about in a minute, you need to have everything prepared, because you can't stop the process, because if it overcooks, the caramel that it's going to become will burn, all right? So you want everything prepped. Couldn't be easier. You probably have everything in your cabinet right now. So you want to have an 8x8 pan, lightly greased, okay? I have in here our gluten-free oats. We have to use gluten-free in this house. Casey is anaphylactic to wheat and any other gluten-containing grains. I have been gluten-free pretty much my whole life, which is very interesting for a pastry chef. Lots of situations, celiac is involved. We don't need to get near that. So I love gluten-free Harvest brand or Trader Joe's brand, and I have gluten-free Harvest in here with a little sprinkle of salt. The whole recipe, by the way, the link will be in the bottom, and it's on my website, katiebakesforcasey.com. We also have our vanilla off to the side, not getting added over the heat, and I'll tell you why later. And also, if you wanted to add, I'm not going to do it today, but any mix-ins, if you want to add in, say, I don't know, I shouldn't say the brand, Quaker, has s'mores bars, right? And they have chocolate chips and little mini marshmallows in there. You can do that for the kids, no problem. Snip up your marshmallows, your safe marshmallows, throw in your chocolate chips. For us, dairy-free chocolate chips all the way. I love Pasha brand, so I get their mini chips. I would be doing it today, except I had to just order a brand new bulk box of it, so I love them. Our dairy-free chips, snipping up the marshmallows. You want to throw in some raisins? Throw in some raisins with a little sprinkle of nutmeg, cinnamon in there. You do you, fam. This is up to you. Whatever you want, okay? And the most important part of the whole process is the solution, the syrup we're going to make. I call it a solution. This isn't chemistry. Actually, no, baking is chemistry. What we have in here, I already started the melting process to move it along a little bit, and it's also warm in my house. I turned off the central air, even though it's so hot, because otherwise you would hear this whole humming, and clearly I'm not an excellent video taker, as you can see right now, so we didn't need anything else getting in the way with the noise. So what I have in here is a 1/4 cup of butter, whether it be vegan butter, regular dairy butter, even coconut oil you can use. I'm going to tell you the one reason I don't love coconut oil for this recipe. I find that it tends to be a little bit greasy once the bar sets up. And we all know what the texture of a commercial granola bar is, a little chewy, and I find it's just a little bit greasy. It is an option, though. Don't think it's not. So if that is your safe option, absolutely you can use it. So you're gonna use a 1/4 cup, 2 ounces, half a stick. I also have in here 1/4 cup of brown sugar, which would be 2 ounces. You could definitely use coconut sugar in here, and I use coconut sugar a lot. I love Wholesome brand, I love Thrive Market brand. They're both safe and clear of any cross-contamination. It will give a richer flavor, like a little more almost molassesy kind of, like a that richer, deeper flavor. And it will make the color a lot darker. So you can use that. I recommend light brown sugar over dark brown sugar for sure. And also we have in here pure maple syrup, 1/3 cup, 3 ounces. Now, note I said pure maple syrup, okay? You're not using pancake syrup. Mrs. Butterworth's, Aunt Jemima, Log Cabin, don't want to use that here. That's filled with all sorts of stuff in it. So check it out. If you were to look at the back of Mrs. Butterworth's, right, what are you going to find? You're going to find high fructose corn syrup and lots of other junk that you don't need. Pure maple syrup, pure maple syrup. That's all you need. This is a very clean recipe, clean ingredients that you are controlling. Also the viscosity, the texture, the fluidity of the syrup is very different when you use pure maple syrup. It's much thinner than pancake syrup, and you don't, because it doesn't have the corn syrup and all that other junk in there. So pure maple syrup. If you are put against the wall and you have to have it, you want to make these today, and all you have in the house is that, I would lower your amount of brown sugar, okay? But it could affect the consistency. So that is just something to know, okay? So I don't know, fam. I think we're ready to go. Let's start this up. Now, you're going to put this over a very low heat to start gently melting everything together, not high heat. I love that pot. Everyone should have at home a heavy bottom pot. Aluminum is very tricky for something like this because it burns very easily. I've had all-clad pots and pans forever. My brothers bought them for me, a whole set, when I graduated culinary school a very long time ago. And I mean, they're amazing. You can't kill those pots, but I use them a lot on our side of the kitchen, and I like to keep things free and clear for case. So this is a great brand that I found on Amazon. I want to say the name is Carote, I believe, Carote. If anyone wants to, drop a message, just want to know what it is, I'll absolutely get back with the name of it. They're heavy bottom. They have the metal on the bottom, so they're safe for induction tops if you have an induction. And I really like them. They're very consistent with the heat, and I like that a lot. So you want to put this on a very low flame to begin with. Why? You're going to have your little iceberg of butter, safe butter, in the middle of the pot. The stuff around it, the brown sugar and the syrup, that's going to want to melt and bubble up faster than your fat is going to melt. So just melt it gently, consistently. Once it's liquid, then we're turning up the temperature. So in the recipe where it says turn it up to high, cook it gently first. Don't go from A to B, because this is a fast moving recipe. Once it starts, you're ready to go, okay? I also want to make note of something, that our oats are in a glass bowl. We're going to talk about that in a second. So I'm starting to come up a little bit of boil around the edges, and my fat is fully melted, okay? So once it starts coming up around the boil, I'm going to turn it up to medium-high heat. You don't want your flames licking the pan. You don't want them coming around the side, but you want them just high enough that it's starting to boil, okay? So I am now going to turn this up medium-high, and at the same time, my timer is getting set to 3 minutes, non-negotiable. You have to do 3 minutes. If you do more than 3 minutes, it's going to start to burn. If you do less, it's not enough, that you're not going to get the same texture, okay? There might be a text popping up on my screen over there. I hope you're not seeing that. So we're boiling this away right now, okay? And we're waiting the 3 minutes. Why is this in a glass bowl? Okay, I'm going to tell you why. When that sugar syrup starts getting when it hits something cold, it's going to set up. So when I did my test batch this morning, to show you later, I had everything in a metal bowl. My central air, like I said, is cranking all the time because it's 90 degrees here in New York right now. And when that sugar syrup hit the cold bowl, it set up really, really fast. Oh God. So I had a brain fart, and I didn't take my own advice, which I normally do. Of course, today I didn't. If you have it in a glass bowl and that happens, you could just pop it in the microwave for a couple of seconds here and there to soften up that sugar syrup so you can combine it all. Because once it hits that, it sets up quickly, and you need to mix it very, very, very quickly, okay? So keep an eye. We still have about 2 minutes to go. It's going to go fast. Now, if you saw the color of it here, it's boiling away. It's like a light toffee kind of color, like a caramel color, because that's essentially what we're making. And we have two sugars in there with dark solution. You have your maple syrup and the brown sugar. So it's going to give that butterscotchy, tawny kind of color. And it's boiling very, very evenly. You might even be able to smell some, as the sugar starts becoming caramel, it's going to smell caramelly. If it smells like it's burning, lower the flame. Very, very important. It's funny. I had COVID in November. I still can't smell, but one of the few things I can smell is burning sugar. So maybe it's because I make these all the time and I'm retraining my brain. Who knows? But it's one of those things to be aware of. Another thing to notice, our vanilla that we're adding in, it's off to the side. Why? If you put your vanilla in straight out of the gate, it's going to evaporate. There's alcohol in there, so it's gonna evaporate straight out. So whenever you have to add alcohol, and vanilla or another kind of extract to a hot solution, wait till after it's over the stove. If you put it in from the beginning, it's going to evaporate right out. It's like you didn't even bother putting it in the first place, okay? And we did have our 8x8 pan, lightly greased. I do like something that is, I should say I like glass pans. You know, I did use a metal one before, but for this I do like a glass pan also, because again, if it got a little too hot, a little too sticky, it's not coming out of the pan, you could put it in the oven for 1 second to warm up gently, and there you go. We can count down here, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. We're going to turn off our timer. Going to make sure definitely that the flame is off. Please make sure you have something here to hold, okay? We're gonna pour this in really, really quick, guys, all right? Please be careful. This is a part that the littles cannot help with, all right? Way, 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 way too hot. Now we're adding our vanilla so it doesn't evaporate, and you need to mix quickly. Please be careful you don't splash up on yourself. Super, super, super hot. Now it doesn't look like it's combining all the way. It will. Work it down a little bit. It's gonna want to clump up. That's the nature of the sugar syrup. It hangs on to everything it touches, okay? It's sticky, it grabs, it wants to hold it. Don't let it. Keep mixing. You see it'll come together. Scrape around those sides. Now you see on the sides, my air kicked back on. Perfect timing. It knows it's allowed to again. Okay? And there you go. If you have any mix-ins, your chocolate chips, your marshmallows, raisins, anything, add them now. If you add your chocolate chips too soon, that syrup was so hot, it's just gonna melt it out, okay? So give it a minute before you add it. Now, I'm gonna dump that in your pan. Scrape all that goodness out. And by the way, when you wash this, just drop some hot water in it. It'll wash out in a second. Don't think because it's a little caramelly and sticky it won't come out. This washes like a dream. Okay, again, the beauty of the silicone spatula is that you can press this down without boiling your hands up. Now you see this little nifty thing I'm doing? See, I'm kind of patting around the sides right now, scooping it in. That helps to keep nice, clean, even edges. And it's gonna bring whatever is thicker on the edges back into the middle, okay? And again, or if it's thinner in the corners. So I'm gonna go like that again. You wanna pack this in. If it's not packed in, it won't set up properly. Alternatively, if you don't have a silicone rubber top spatula, use a wooden spoon. Wooden spoons are very, very poor heat conductors, so you won't burn your hands, and it also won't melt anything when you have to stir. And this is great to have too. If you have parchment paper, wax paper, or even a piece of foil that you spray lightly with some oil, you can put this on the top right here, so you don't burn your hands and you don't have to touch it, and help to pat that down flat. See how easy that is? Look. Beautiful, nice and even, okay? If you wanna go put that in, again, help pack it in, keep it tight, okay? There you go, done. Could this have been more simple? No, probably couldn't. It is a little warm on the bottom. I'm gonna set it aside. If your pan is very, very hot, let it cool for a couple of minutes, and then pop it into the fridge. This does have to set up in the fridge for like about an hour or so, sometimes more, it depends. Don't rush it. If you rush it, the texture will not be set up. The sugar solution has to cool, and as it's cooling, it's recrystallizing. What does that mean? It's going from its liquid state back to a solid state, so it is firming up, okay? As imagine a hard caramel candy as opposed to like caramel syrup. You have to change the texture of it. This is very much a science-driven thing. Sugar is very scientific, so when you're making caramel and things like that, it's very, very, very tricky because it's very temperamental. Sugar, very, very temperamental. So you're gonna pop this into the fridge for at least an hour, all right? By the magic of TV, I just so happen to have a batch already made. Hopefully it didn't get too warm sitting out here while we were waiting, but that's okay if it did, because I'm gonna show you how we can cut these up now, okay? So I made this batch this morning, metal pan, so this took a little bit longer to cool, the metal pan, because metal, obviously, it gets the heat, it holds on to it. So I had to cool this a little bit longer at room temp than, say, that glass pan would have to, all right? So you wanna have your cutting board ready, nice big chef's knife to cut through this, and either a container to put them into, or this is another fun thing to do. I live for parchment paper, live for it, love it, it's my life. And I wrap things in it, I bake, you know, everything I bake, I don't grease any pans, everything's always baked on parchment paper. But this is also a fun thing to pack up for the kids pack the granola bars in here, because it is a little bit sticky, because, you know, it's the granola bar consistency. So you can cut some squares to wrap the granola bar once you're done. Now, I'm gonna show you how to cut them. They will look like your store-bought granola bars when you make them, okay? So we have cutting board, pan. You can do it either one of two ways if you feel trustworthy knocking it out, or you can go like this to flip it over, whatever you feel more comfortable with. Some people are scared one way or another. And there we go. Now, don't think I'm that awesome that it popped right out. If yours is cold straight out of the freezer, the fridge, give it a second, because it won't pop out immediately. Give it a couple of seconds, and then it'll pop right out. If not, you could pry it up around the edge a little bit, even take a little hot towel under the bottom, and then you'll be fine, okay? Now we have nice clean edges that nothing looks scrappy and gross, because we did that nifty little trick where we cleaned it up around the side, okay? If you're not comfortable cutting freehand, then you can grab a ruler, for sure, it's up to you. You will get out of these what you want to get out of them. For example, if you want big bars, cut them bigger. You want to make them smaller little squares, make them smaller little squares. It's entirely up to you, the size you want to do, and that will adjust the yield of what you're going to get. So I always start in the middle. You want to always do the even amounts first. So, you know, imagine when you were little and learning, you know, fractions, and you started with your quarter and then your half and your thirds and stuff. That's kind of how we learn to cut things in culinary school. So we're going to start straight in halves, okay? And then eyeball it from there to figure out how you want to cut it. If you cut it like this, you're going to have really, really wide bars. I'm going to do this in thirds, and then they're going to look a little more like traditional store-bought granola bars. Okay. There you go. See? Now, obviously, no one's going to eat a giant strip of granola like this. So what are you going to do from here? Well, I now have 6 bars. You turn them this way, and now if you go like this, there you go. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 beautiful bars. And they are, look at that. It's like buying quick granola bars in the store. Nice and chewy. They have the same consistency, right? Love it. How good is that? It's the same exact thing. Now, big problem people have all the time, and they always say, what do I do? I did them, I followed all the ingredients, I did it right. Why did they fall apart? They didn't set up. You didn't boil the sugar long enough. Probably number one, or you added too many mix-ins. If you add too many mix-ins like the chocolate chips, the marshmallows, the raisins, things like that, there's not enough of the sugar syrup for everything to cling onto. So be careful you don't add too much in there. But you have to do that 3 minutes, and you also have to put it in the fridge long enough. So what happens? You dump it out, the crumbles go everywhere. Don't worry, all is not lost. What are we gonna make? We're gonna make dry granola. We're gonna make crunchy granola out of it. So what do you do then? You turn on your oven to about 325 degrees. Take all the broken crumbles of granola, spread them out on a parchment lined pan, and pop them into the oven for about half hour, 40 minutes, tossing it often, okay? And it's gonna dry out, and then you have regular crunchy granola that you sprinkle in yogurt or something. You can always find a way to save everything. You don't wanna have time, money, ingredients down the drain. You figure it out. Necessity is the mother of invention, right? And what you have to remember is work smarter, not harder. As allergy parents, we are working hard all the time. Label reading, finding safe ingredients. It's so frustrating when you make things and they don't come out right. Figure it out. There's always a way. So if the granola comes out wonky the first time, what do? Pop it in the oven, and you still have granola, just not a granola bar, so don't lose hope. Like I said, I have the little pieces of parchment here, so you can take your granola bar and wrap them up. That's cute. Send them to school like that. And when I'm putting them in the freezer, I save that, but I freeze them like crazy. They're awesome. Just defrost them in the fridge. Everything should be defrosted in the fridge. Just layer them. Put a piece of parchment, and you can take them just like this, layer them like that. Piece of parchment on top. Layer them up again. You're good to go. Wrap them tight in some silver foil, and then pop them in a plastic bag, label, date, and take them out as you need them. This is so easy. You saw how easy this was, and it even took longer because I'm sitting here yapping away. You can truly have this done in no time, and it's a safe treat that you're comfortable sending your children to school with, and you know that they can have a granola bar like their friends do, but you can also trust the ingredients and also trust that they're better ingredients because you made them yourself. Okay, so I'm being that guy right now, and I'm saying like and subscribe to Katie Bakes for Casey here on YouTube, because I have more videos coming for our back to school series, tutorials. Any requests, drop me a line, leave a comment. I love to know what people are thinking. I'm always available on my Instagram page, on my Facebook page. All I want to do is help people. I just want to bake, just want to have everyone be included. And anyone who knows me will tell you, my motto has always been, life is short, so eat dessert first. But now having an allergy child, it's life is short, so eat dessert first safely. So I'll see you soon. Thank you for watching, and enjoy the heat. Take care, everybody. Bye.